pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We are going to go off agenda here real quickly to accommodate Lisa Moody because we called her in on short notice. Did you, we were asking for an update on the probation building. I know some of the guys have some questions, so.
We had a meeting of the building last week on the outside. They were getting ready to start the parking. On the inside, the drywall is just about finished and some of it is even already going very well. They're telling us hopefully by the end of the year, the building will be done, but that's probably gonna be, I don't know if we'll make it by the end of the year, not realistically, because things, you know, come up, certain things they can't get, or things take longer to get here than anticipated. So I'm still hoping by the end of the year, we're gonna keep pushing forward on technology. We're gonna apply for some ARPA funds, hopefully, and hopefully come back and ask for any more money for the building. We've got ARPA, judges have some money, and jury funds, public defender's office has some money, so we're trying to make a plan to not ask you guys for more money. Well, very excited. I'm gonna try really hard, and I may make it. I'm pretty self-sufficient, as you guys know.
That BCS estimate was in the,
I got my BCS and my technology, we're gonna apply for ARPA funds. It's about $128,000 altogether for the whole building. So I'm hoping we'll get ARPA to cover that. If not, I have a backup plan for that too.
That the only thing that we forgot? Like we put toilets and water and stuff in there?
No, and then, you know, we have to tear down the old building right next to it, so I am working on that. There's a lot of stuff in the old building. I went around to every office in the courthouse last week. Some of them were that, some of them wasn't as well received as I had hoped. No. No, not everyone in the courthouse. So I talked to every office, and I think they were going to go over there and take inventory. I think there's a lot of things over there that can be shredded, and I gotta find some money to pay for some shredded things, so I'm working on that. I'm gonna talk to Jim tomorrow about that. But I mean, I went over there personally and I saw things that say shred in 2016, shred in 2015, so I know for a fact there's a lot of things that can be shredded, but every office needs to determine what can be shredded and what is, there's a lot of trash over there. What's trash, what needs to go to auction, and what needs to be moved, and then where we're gonna move it to. And so I need to figure out how much needs to be moved before we can figure out where we're going to move it to. So I'm working on all those things. We have to figure out what to do with the things in the building. And then I've got to figure out how much money we need to figure out the old building and put a parking lot there, and then I'm gonna apply for that money. I even hope this has not to have to ask you guys for more money. All I can tell you is I'm gonna try as hard as I can, not to ask for more money, but it's still in the works right now. So I'm very busy.
but any questions? Jeff, you good?
No. They're moving along.
Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Lee.
We moved Mike up since he's got.
Who's that? Sure.
And Jim McDonald is Jim McDonald's on there too.
I'm sorry. Some of you may or may not be aware, April Graber, who's been with the prosecutor's office since, I don't know, is heading off to a greener pasture, so to speak. So, I'm sure you're all aware, maybe you aren't, but, her position is probably one of the more unique positions in all of the county, quite frankly, and it's not a position that's easily filled. It's not like you can hire somebody off the street and put them in her slot and go, okay, do this. Okay, so and I'll be blunt, it's not something that I could specifically train her on either. They're very unique job skills that go along with it, and quite frankly, she's helped develop those job skills throughout the state. So it's, again, a unique spot. So we're going to be filling that position. I'm going to, what I'm here today is to ask you a couple things. First of all, we have someone who's accepted the position who we think is uniquely qualified, who has 15 years experience working for you. And it's going to be very hard to find that. I can tell you that April's worked really hard to find her own replacement. And I've done the interviews and found that person to be very qualified to do this. Again, I got to hand it to April for doing that. It's not as if she's moving on and then saying, yeah, the heck with this, I'm moving on somewhere else. So she's taking great care to fill that position. The individual that we've decided to hire, I can tell you has 15 years experience in the Vandenberg County 4D office. Further, that individual is willing to, before she actually leaves her position, willing to take vacation days in that position to come up and train in our office. So that to me, that's very, very indicative of that individual's dedication to at least start here on a good note. What I would ask, I'm asking that the council, first of all, April is staying on to train that individual, and that individual will be here when she starts at 21st. And I'm not sure how I'm anticipating staying around to train, but.
We'll have 6 days of actual live training. I'm actually trying the days not until the first. But Mike and I talked about that I would, and my new employer understands that I would be available in that time and after. I just can't walk away. Phone calls, if I need to come in for a couple of hours. There's a lot of things that we do that it only gets done monthly, quarterly, some of it annually, some of it's semi-annually. So to try to teach someone when we don't have everything to do is hard. So I told him, you know, and I reassured this person that I would be available to continue to help, and my employer understands that. My new job is mostly remote, working from home, with some travel, so it'll work. So the overlap of salaries will be, she's starting the 21st, and my official return is not until December 1st.
And I want to keep you abreast of that. First of all, we're not asking you that you pay 2 salaries. The incentive money that we have will cover the cost of that training. So it's not like I'm coming here for additional appropriation to get up the whole salary in one position once you get trained. So that I think saves the council money instead of what we're using money that we already have to take care of that. What I am asking for is just the administrative issue of a minimum county employee. Typically, you start them out at $1,000, $1,000 less than the salary is. I'm asking that you waive that. I've got somebody who's basically doing a lateral transfer from one county to another with years and years and years of experience. Again, it's not, while it is technically a new hire, I think that it's because April's gone over and above to find the right person, and we've been able to locate that person who's willing to accept the position. I don't think it's too much to ask, especially when we're saving money as well as incentives. That $1,000 we waived, she be able to slot. So that's what I'm asking the council for. Again, I don't think it's too much to ask, given the situation, and given the uniqueness of that position.
April, your position is the 4D administrative assistant? It's the
For the admin.
admin. Wendy, that's the second one on that schedule below the attorney. Yeah, You get paid from another fund.
And you also,
Hub administrator.
It's the second one, yeah,
So it's the 40 administrative assistant
yeah,
title.
and then 9117.
It's nice. This is it's really nice paper. I think the schedule's wrong. So the individual you said it's coming from Danbury, good similar to what it does.
Correct. And I can say those duties are not, it's not like it's marketplace. What he says is vast, it's not at all. It just isn't.
what she hasn't done down there is what I call the admin responsibility, which is payroll, paying the bills, state reports. Only because Vandenberg has a office manager over the whole prosecutor's office that does all of that. So those are the things that everyone is really. But she's a supervisor. And she's done planning for the staff, so all of those things that currently she has done.
You've known this individual for a while.
I have known her for a while, and then the person that used to be my old town partner member, she was director, he has moved on, she's now working as a contractor for the state. When I was contemplating doing this, I reached out to her and said, out of your office, who would you think would most fit in a different, big county, small county, who would fit and do, good job supervising. And she named this being the problem. And also has someone else that knew her from that office that's no longer there and said, this is what we're thinking, what do you think? And she's like, I think she's great. Do I know her? But I had other ones.
Sounds like it would make sense to waive the 1,000 to get somebody to come in and
I'm okay with it.
carry the ball. Yeah, I'll make a- So I make a motion that based on the information provided by the prosecutor that we waive the $1,000 probationary pay.
Motion, is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0.
Thank you very much.
Next up, Mr. McDonald, Fort Branch Johnson Township Library.
Okay. Points, on the boxes in the old furniture store. Mr. Stillwell gave me boxes. And then I got boxes. And I gave Mr. Stillwell boxes and my boxes to Jason. Jason was smart enough not to put his name on those boxes. They didn't call Jerry. April, make sure that the old lawyers call her as well. That should be part of it.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Yeah.
So back to my point why I'm here today. I'm here again for the Fort Branch Library. Fort Branch Library store back here. It went out to bid, and when the bids came in, it was over the projected estimated cost. So Laura came back to the redevelopment commission, and the redevelopment commission granted another $1 million to complete the project. So that means that, and that's next month's meeting, I'll be bringing to you a forgivable loan document again for $1 million. So today is just the introduction. If you had any questions for Laura, if you need Laura to get you anything or any information for next month's meeting, I'd like to have next month's meeting on the agenda for the Fort Branch Library, come back, redevelopment. So Laura's here. If you have any questions for her, me, happy to answer them.
Well,
Make no decision today.
what were the contributing factors to the overage?
Basically, when we went in, we originally asked for 4.7 and then we were awarded 3.7. We went back, we cut things out. We got the price down and then it is live at this point. What our architects thought it would come in at the bid, it came in about 800,000 over. And so it's just cost of business. We were told that we were welcome to come back. We had tried grants, the ARPA for Gibson County went for salary instead. We have been, the grants just didn't come through like they had hoped.
So they asked for a higher amount, but the redevelopment awarded a lower amount with the understanding it came in, they come back. That's what they did.
Who's the architect?
Universal design out of Bergen.
Ferdinand? Okay.
So those bids that you got, this is the ones you're gonna work off of? You're gonna keep the same bids or will it be rebid again?
No, same bid.
Same bids, that's it.
They broke ground,
Okay.
they're working through a local plan for construction loan.
So the original cost was 4.7. You took that to redevelopment, they said 3.7. So you worked, you reduced size and all that. So it's not that you've added something to the original design. It's actually a smaller design than originally presented. So you put out the bids for a $3.7 million project and it come in at almost 4.7 based off of supplies and labor and whatnot.
And we went with lowest bid as well.
What's your debt load?
As far as.
What kind of debt do you have with the library? What's your bonding capacity?
Bonding capacity is very low. We're already the highest tax for our area, Gibson County. 30. We have worked with Baker Tilly about bonding and we feel like it is in the best interest.
Any other questions? See you next month.
Next
All
month.
right, we'll be back.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Laura. All right. Now we can get back to the September meeting. Everybody have a chance to look at the minutes from the September 13th regular session. If there are no changes, we will approve them as written. Only
Treasurer only.
treasurer's report. From last month, did everybody get a chance to take a look at that? Okay. That's all right. Department reports. Fair bottoms. School good with it. Yeah. Okay. Excellent. I saw that, the updated, you worked with Diane on that? The updated, wanted ad was really, really good.
I sent Diane an information.
She made it. Okay, perfect.
I sent the information I had, and she-
You did an excellent job. Thank you. David.
Years state bill for $3,152,380.08 total years to date collected, $939,844.92. Net accounts for that month, the last month was $362. $350,097.90. $78,416.13. So it's insurance difference, $45,221.50. You guys.
All set. Any other department reports? Move on to old business. That one's there. Mr. Stillwell?
I'm just back on behalf of our Virginia company, because you know, when we were the last. It's just a couple of things, so I figure. But, we had, as in May, the request is for a little less than $5 million. The machine, I indicated before, is the machine that's in large part to be purchased for military contracts. And that is the air. I want to point out that highway machine presently pays $141,515 a year in personal property. There's a question raised at the last meeting about the possible scrapping of two machines. Okay. Now, if those machines are scrapped, according to him, the reduction would be $4,917. The two machines that are likely going to be scrapped, those machines run on hours like tractors and other things. The machines that are in great use are at least 3,500 hours a year. Okay. The two that are being likely scrapped have the 2-year red. The one machine averages 31 hours a month. And the other machine is average 41. One machine was purchased in 1986 and has a 1971 model. The other machine was also purchased in 1986. It's a 1942 model. So to give you an idea about what scrapping means. These machines would not be sold because the only person who would want to buy them is possible. So that's the other thing I'd like to bring up, just briefly, if I could, is that they appreciated the assistance in the past, et cetera. And we're just hopeful that there is some tax abatement. This company's been here almost 100 years. Incorporated in 1938. I went back and took a look at the statutes when tax abatement. Okay, the tax abatement is wonderful to bring in the literacy, and I know about that. Okay, I was there, and so but it's also a part of it is keep the small businesses going, local people going, and so forth. So I'm hopeful that you can give the tax abatement. And then I did point out to you, and I assume you already know, that when you set it, if you a pre-tax abatement, the percentages don't have to be in any particular order. In other words, if you grant 100% the first year, there's nothing to keep you from granting 100% the second year, or 90 or 85 or whatever. Every single year, it can be a good thing. Every year can be a different percent. Okay, so whatever your decision is, I'm sure we'll appreciate it. And if you have any questions, I will try.
I've asked him to run numbers with that falling off and your other abatement will end all about the same time. And that was kind of from just talking to different members was our main concern is that we don't go backwards if we do abatement with that falling off but we won't if we do 100% the first year. It's gonna be, got it right here. If we do 100% the first year, it still is an increase of their taxes of about $2,000 a year. But also on the other hand, if we go over 80 the second year, it will be a negative. Kim tried to explain it to
Well,
me.
not necessarily, and the reason for that is that everything that a company buys is not something they come and get tax paid.
Yeah, I'm just saying if everything stays the same.
What I'm telling you is they buy stuff every year. It might cost 100,000, it might cost 20,000, it might cost 200,000. It's stuff that goes on the personal property. So the only things that come for tax abatement are what? Big things. Because it's a big job.
Yeah.
But I don't think for a second there's gonna be an issue.
I'm saying if we go over 80 and everything stays the same, if there's no other purchases, it will make a negative impact on the tax.
I disagree. And I signed a document that gave permission, or the highway machine did, it gave all of you permission to go to the tax office, because of their account. But I signed something so all of you could go talk to Kim, let her calculate, look at, et cetera, et cetera.
And
I'm
I'm
just gonna say, Jay, I'm not sure that's right.
by her numbers, so.
Yeah, I provided them some information.
What?
The tax rate was what it is right now.
Right.
Which you do know the tax rate probably will go down once the tip comes off.
Right.
So that was just the constant tax rate with what we currently have. I was not adding any additional equipment. It was just with what they have now, plus the additional.
Right.
For the,
Because what happens when you have personal property, I mean, it's on a schedule. In year one, it's at a certain percentage. Year two, you get hit at a higher percentage of that. So therefore, what Jay is saying is it will affect it a little bit.
Well, yeah, it would affect it,
Yeah.
for sure, but.
But the chances are if they buy something else,
They're gonna
yeah.
receive less unless the tax rate goes down. Okay, if the tax rate goes down, everybody's taxes.
right, I provided them like.
But the AV is still there for the school, which is what we're concerned about, right? I mean,
I
But if it's
just
less
came
money
with
because of the tax rate,
180.76.
that's not a reason.
I mean, I gotta go by what she's giving me with numbers and everything else,
I
so.
mean, I provided like by-year percentage as to what it would potentially do. It's an estimate. It took some work to do, so.
Yeah, and I'm in favor of doing the abatement. I just don't want to go. Which granted, they probably will buy something between now and then, but there's no guarantee of that, and I don't want to go any negative for the county, so that, I'm just gonna throw these out here, and because I've talked to different members, last time we gave a 5-year tax abatement as a higher price machinery that was bought is about the same amount of employees and everything. So comparing the two, everybody kind of came up with, they thought maybe 4-year this time, and I want to say 180, 70, 60. That way it will be a positive and it would help them out.
I appreciate that, but I'm trying to figure out how a solar company, which has to have land that was, they want the land. How a solar company could get more years than a company's been on.
the AV on the farm ground changes once it becomes solar, so that, there was an increase in AV there,
I understand.
and then the size of the project,
I understand.
and the increase in the income tax base. With the money that they'd be paying to the landowners were all factors in that, for sure. In addition to that, the economic development agreement payment was a factor in that as well.
For he's right there. The solar agreements, that was abatements were what length? I don't remember.
Our increases start immediately, like you said, on our property, that value, what we pay is substantial.
Year one.
It goes, yeah, I don't have all those numbers, but the millions of what we pay. And the landowners.
And the abatement was on just the personal property, infrastructure.
Yes. I'm not opposed to the solar.
Yeah.
I see.
Yeah, I think we're just, because there's no magic formula that's set out there, and I think we're trying to be fair and reasonable to everybody involved and also the taxpayers as well, so I think that's why we came up with 4 years instead of 5, because last was 5 and it was a bigger project and a bigger expense project and same employees, so why we went with 4, and then I kept the numbers fairly high because a lot of times 4 years you'll drop 175, 50, 25 on a lot of, and like you said, there's no set number that's said. I'm just saying, like in the past, we've kind of went that route, like a steady.
Now, Jay put a lot of effort into this and time. Does anybody have another proposal?
Your fourth year was 60.
Yeah. Still gonna keep it. Got our email somewhere, but it's still gonna keep it up above what they're paying now. Like the second year, like I said, is only gonna increase at $2,000 over what they're currently paying. The first year is actually, first year is 2,000, the second year is only 3,000. So dropping from 100 to 80 is only changing what they're paying less than $500 actually. This way, the mathematical calculations figured out that what she was trying to explain to me, and she was talking here and I'm down here.
You want to make a motion on that?
So the 2017 project was like 6,269,000, and this one's right at 5. So
We did.
we did 5 last time.
180.
We did 100 year 1, 80 year 2, 60 year 3, 40 year 4, and 20 year 5. So if you go with what Jay's kind of proposed,
It's maybe better.
it's actually better.
It could be better.
It's actually better because it's front loaded. It's just a shorter period of time, Jared.
I'm saying.
I'll make a motion to approve the abatement. Year 1 at 100%, year 2 80, year 3 70, and year 4 60%, and ending after the 4th year.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
A second.
Motion and a second.
And that's on a total project cost of $4,039,895.
Any other questions, comments, discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Thank you. think Mike has a resolution that we can do later, and then Mike on that form that was submitted, I'll stop by in a couple of days. Say.
Thank you, Jerry.
Thank you, Jay.
Thanks, Jim. Thanks, Kim, for all your help.
I don't know what boxes, Jim.
Plausible deniability.
Right. George Ballard with a jail update. And a commercial for RQAW so far, right? They're the only architect I know of that kept pricing about where they said it would be. Came in under bid.
Rebuilding this week. And so won't be the gas until you start to get. And it will save you money with bike. Quite a bit on the payment procedures on the issues. And quite a bit. And hopefully we should be working hopefully today on a building permit with the city of Princeton. So
That treasure.
that goes well.
That treasure.
Everything goes well, we should be done that. Should have grand before the issue.
So they're breaking the concrete as I drove
The
in.
break, well, the county actually, and they're gonna use that broken concrete up to use for rip wrap and creeks and things that are little problems and heat up erosion and stuff like that. Well,
Excellent. Just an update for you. You know, we got the bond proceeds. Incredibly fortunate that we got them in literally on the day that we did, because the next day treasury rates have gone kind of crazy and gone up. So we were able to get a good rate on that. Even though the rates came up that day a little bit, they were able to restructure some things and end up getting our proceeds the same. The good news about that is we've got money sitting and we have the ability, you know, we're not gonna have to write that check all at once to Garmong. So Garmong's provided us with a payment schedule. And we have worked with Old National as the treasurer. There are a lot of moving parts. Mary Ann O'Neill has been appointed now by the building corporation to be able to authorize Old National to work to get the money invested. Currently, George, I think pronunciation's Bokum from Baker Tilly had given us an investment proposal. Mary Ann went to Old National and said, hey, you know, we're looking at Baker Tilly. Would you guys like to put together a proposal as well? Old National said, we don't need to, we can't compete with them. So their pricing is the lowest, their rates are the best. So hopefully by the end of the week, I hope, we don't need to go to, she has the authorization to take care of that. So hopefully by the end of the week, we'll have something going there and be able to start generating some revenue off of that too. So, yeah, for sure. So, I mean, it's possible. The projection we had, of course, we're a couple weeks behind on it, but the projection was north of 250,000 of interest that we could potentially make to help with project costs between now and then. So.
You'll know when you send out an invitation, so hopefully.
Do you also talk to the court side of it on the suit or not? Suit, you also.
We have an update, actually, I've got a conversation with the Karen Pollock Law Office who represents the county in the federal lawsuit tomorrow. And give them the latest 3 months update, that's what I do. And then we'll put a report together, send that in. So far, we have a lot of really positive things to put in the report this time, and hopefully we have a date that we can fill in that's when the grant will be broken. And that will all be big pluses for our federal report. So far, all the reports have had no comment, which is a good thing. We don't want to comment back on the federal report, because it's going to be negative. So everything we've had back, we've been no comment at all. So that means they accepted our reports. We got another one to do here. We'll have that ready.
Thank you.
So I actually have the email from George now. Believe it's safe to say we'd be able to earn more than 300,000 on the bond construction proceeds. 330,000 is actually what my illustration shows today, at current treasury yields. And that's assuming that the bond proceeds are spent first. You know, we've got about roughly 8 million of money that hadn't all been collected yet, but we have some of that sitting. So there's also 1.5 million in the capitalized interest account. An additional 50,000 could be invested there that could be transferred to the construction account February 2024. And then he also asked about the tax revenues and how Mary Ann has those invested, and there's some potential there too with another 3.5 million. So good news there all around. So. All right, we have an additional appropriation resolution. In the general fund, personal services, $9,524, supplies, $35,000, other services and charges, $15,000 for a total of $59,524. By digesting that,
Home and advertise.
we need a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion, questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries 7-0. All right, any other old business? New business, we took care of Mike Cochran, Paris Consulting, Kyle.
I excused him, he was here for this thing, police report.
Perfect, okay. Rick Reed?
Got Jared on standby if you all happen to have any questions. I think it's pretty, should be pretty easy. And do some legwork. I did speak with you and me in person, text messaging. I was like, this week, checked out our changes that we need to act on for our EPA. Much like some of your other projects that we see this morning. See, that's the agenda change for this morning, for most of our meetings commissioners, but the proposal that we've sent to our PowerPoint is showing that we too have succumbed to some delays in the world of our supplies of panels, and that is why we're needing to, if we don't act on the EPA, I did not bring all three of the big binders that we worked many months on with you all to compile the collect reports. We just need to change our projection date of construction. It's not gonna change anything on the way we pay. Jason has reviewed it. I think most of you had said we'll follow his guide. Questions or it's at our worst case scenario is what we have presented to you here in this, looking at 2024. We do have some assurances and they are pretty solid. We're first this year 23 coming up and 24 to start, and then worst first half. So as good as that projected time is there, so we wouldn't have to come back if our other shipping delays. This is why we're just asking to push it out that far, so we don't have to act on any changes. So what we're seeking today is just to be able to change the dates on the. Jason was able to review everything and didn't see any problems or issues.
So,
Yeah, our hopes are, given our good studies, starting later, for example, 22, 3.
Or, oh, it's your signature. There.
Just to add a little, we are working with
This
all
is a
five
lot.
of our counties. We have projects.
Do I have to take it
Are
in?
signed and,
Action, or if I just sign it?
changes necessary. Gibson, Posey,
Go ahead and do it. Motion to accept this.
So construction is anticipated to begin on both of them or just the,
you go from. That's the other stuff we all switch them, that's to be staggered, so everything's gonna be at one time, so there'll be one grand project, just, as much as they can move from field to field and, start.
so like on that PowerPoint that I think that you dropped by that day,
Yeah,
it had started construction,
correct. On, Gibson first. I believe.
all the current, yeah. So that was one question I thought of after you left that day is both the Elliott and the Gibson are projected to start first quarter of 23.
23. We didn't want to have to go through any of this again, then there's nothing going on, so things seem to be getting better, there's a lot of, red tape of the White House and everything has been, clearing up a little bit to allow a lot of these projects, and it's not gonna affect our current one, but we're looking at a lot of this, we starting to be made stateside. With technology and everything, it's seeing how much we're dependent on other countries, the need is gonna be growing, we're not learning, as other people are looking at our counties and other counties for other projects, so it's gonna be something that's gonna grow and, be, more profitable, I think, to try to keep this in America as much as we can. That's on the for our project.
Do you know where these are being manufactured and shipped from?
I don't want to misspeak, but I believe some of it is coming from Korea, and Taiwan. I think it's coming.
China? Okay,
That's why I think it's getting a little easier to get those, around those, because those are pretty tough, issues with China.
yeah.
We got a lot of
Cartoon,
papers
let's
that
say.
they're calling, and they're issues to go with their.
Green money.
We just, need to make sure we get this.
And our president smiling as he was.
You just and re-dance you all through those big binders,
We need a motion.
I'll
We need a motion.
approve the First Amendment to the Agreement for Economic Development between the Gibson County Council, Gibson County, Indiana, and Elliott Solar.
Jason, you've looked through all that. And so it's just a matter of changing the dates, start dates or whatever. Proceed.
So that's for Elliott. Gibson didn't change because it was planned to start later anyway, correct?
Glad that they come together, so that's why we're.
So that document, I mean, it's pulling both projects together, saying that the start date or when this all begins will be the same.
That's the old for the commission, which we want to work with both bodies, they got some caveats in their programs as well, financially. To help jail, to help serve some of their, needs over there, that it does work out, for their engineering to, be able to, use solar over there.
Yeah, that's.
So I'll entertain a motion to approve the First Amendment to the agreement. We have a motion. There a second?
He's been counting up a bit to make a motion.
Second one. Second one.
You might have had a birthday, you got over, but.
All right, so we have the motion
Second it.
No, he made the motion.
Oh, okay, I second it.
and a second.
Don't waste no time, Mike. Let's go. Got business to do.
Put a star next to that one. He worked hard for that. All right, we have a motion and a second. Anybody have any questions, comments, otherwise? All in favor, say aye. Opposed,
I abstain since I'm involved in this. Family is.
6-0. Thanks, Rick.
I'll, you all need to, more, I'll say around.
I would still have to get the commissioners to sign it too.
But I didn't know how you could take it with us.
I can pass it on to them at the next
Might be
meeting.
very helpful too, you get a lot of times with training. Thank you all very much.
All right, back to Tim, the sheriff's sale. We have an ordinance from 2009 that allows a charge of $200 for costs attributable to administration of sheriff's sale, and it looks like the state has raised that amount from 200 to 300.
Yes.
Thanks.
Last 2 years, before that. You guys today, see if you will approve it also, Commissioner Patrick. From 200 to 300.
So is that an ordinance like that, something we need to advertise, or do we just?
Amendment. I'd say we have to advertise 30 days. It's an amendment to an ordinance.
Yeah, I said, you can pass it today and it'll be back for.
I will make a motion to amend ordinance 2009-2, specific wording from $200 to $300 for costs attributed to the administration of the sheriff's sale.
Motion, is there a second? Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 6-0. Transfer and requests. Personal series transfers, general fund surveyor 06 request moving of 11-301 part-time overtime $400 into 12-09 section corner certification for $400 to cover cost of section corner certifications. Voted to advertise it.
That is,
Is that a typo?
no. That should not be in there.
I think so.
Council motion, that shouldn't be there, right?
Didn't think we did. All right, and then the sheriff is requesting in fund number 19 from 42-202 office furniture $500 and 23-304 fingerprint supplies $500 into 32-401 gas tires and lube for $1,000. Fund is getting low and this will help pay upcoming invoices. So we can vote on the two of those transfers for the surveyor in the amount of $400 and the sheriff's department in the amount of $1,000.
Oh my, come on, Mike.
Second.
No, we need a motion.
We need a motion now. You didn't want Don't move.
One motion.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? 7-0. And have additionals to request to advertise. All right, sheriff is requesting an additional of 30,501 vehicle repairs in the amount of $17,280. And 32-401 oil, gas, and tires, $23,040. And he's asking for a reduction in the jail budget to offset it. in the amount of $40,320 in the 10201 corrections officers line. So it is an additional, but there's also a reduction.
I'll make a motion to advertise the additional and the reduction.
Is there a second?
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Okay.
Opposed? 7-0. EMS is requesting an additional of $2,333 in rental of equipment.
What is that? What you,
Excuse me, that's actually for the rental of the, renting of the building at Gibson Job.
okay.
That's what's listed as rental of equipment.
So as far as other line items, you don't have anywhere to transfer, you don't think, or?
All that money in other places, and what the deal is, just so you guys know, since the hospital, if you moved from originally we paid $625 a month here, about a year and a half ago, then went to $1,500 and something, then $1,800, and now it's up to $2,082, I think it is. So that's why it's been hard to budget for this, because we've been having these incremental increases, and that's why we're basically going to be just a little over one payment short of.
So just common practice that we've usually done on the council, David, in situations like this where there's already line items and bills coming in, a bill just spiked, we wait towards the end of the year to see, and then we'll fix it at the end of the year if we have to. Otherwise, we can move. The additionals, just me, I like unexpected expenses or where you can find a spot to take it from. So that's just me. I think we wait on this. Your bill's gonna get paid. We're gonna take care of it, but I don't want to move any money or do any additional, just me until the end of the year.
Get into December.
Oh, understood. And at the end of the year, that'll be the longest meeting because of additional.
Wouldn't we?
Are you satisfied with that, Mike?
We just have to do it next month.
It'd be next month to cover, so we'll see how your budget goes for at least one more month. And then our end of the year transfers and additional.
Take care of them all at one time.
Do them all at once. All right. Yep. So I make a motion to table his request.
Second.
Use this close again.
And then 4201 jail bond construction.
Motion.
Table.
Oh, we have a motion and a second to table.
Thank you, David.
Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? 7-0. Sorry for moving right forward there. 4201 jail bond construction, 2022 request additional appropriation of 33,003 professional services in the amount of $250,000 to appropriate proceeds of this fund to pay for costs associated with the jail project. That's just, we've been doing that incrementally as time's gone by.
This is where we, facility, hoping to bought the jail so that they could get the bonds. So they, the county, $250,000. Baker Tilly said, appropriate this money, get it spent down, so that it is not forgotten. So what I'm attempting is to pay for owners, representatives, RQAW as long as they can out of this fund.
Excellent. Okay.
I'll make a motion to advertise.
Second.
We have a motion and a second for the $250,000 additional. Any questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
7-0. And then, guys, if Baker Tilly doesn't, I mean, I've been deferring to them, but if they are recommending that we spend, basically that, I'm not, aggressive isn't the right word, but that we invest on a more aggressive timeline, they're assuming that we'll spend the bond proceeds first. So depending on how Mary Ann wants to handle the investment of the bonds, do you think we should, basically, should we try to get as much interest as possible without endangering us from not having money to pay the bills? And so I'm assuming that those lit funds can be invested the same way that they're investing the the bond proceeds, but since they're in different accounts, I'm not sure exactly how that will go and if Mary Ann, because of the lit money, has to be invested a certain way here. I just want to make sure she has the confidence from the backing, our backing, to go forward with doing that, to get as much of those proceeds invested as possible. Is that
What's the
fair?
time period you looking at?
Well, I mean, he had his, I can send you the schedule, but, February of 2024 is the last payment. So what they had done is put together at the time that treasuries were higher, I'd say some CDs are now, they'd put together a treasury bill and CD portfolio that coincided with the payment schedule. So, we would buy those that would mature in September if we had a payment due in October. And Garmong stands by those payment schedules, so we can do that with confidence. So that allows us to have like a ladder where the money's coming due in time that it can be paid out. But if we also have 3 million or $2.5 million sitting in our lit fund, we can use that. That's more of that money they could invest for a longer term.
Right. Okay.
And it's the terms that they're talking about are kind of where the sweet spot is for interest rates, less than 2 years right now. So it's good. Salary schedule. Wendy prepped a new salary schedule with the addition of the ARPA criteria. Again, Jay and Mike and Jason and is Warren on that ARPA team for all your hard work. I know it's been a lot of work. So going to be paid based on the following criteria: must be a full-time employee with Gibson County honor before May 17th of 2022. Part-time, by law, part-time or contract employees are not eligible. By law, elected officials are not eligible. Any employee not employed with the county on October 12th, 2022 will not receive a bonus. Bonus pay will be issued on October 12th, 2022. Pay will be direct deposited in the employee account. A 20% federal gift tax will be deducted along with required taxes. No other deductions will be withheld from the bonus. PERF will not be paid on this bonus. State paid employees are not eligible for this bonus.
And add that, she wants that.
$4,000 to be paid if the criteria is met. Okay, so there's a 20% withholding along with whatever the software tells you to withhold, or not?
No, 20% federal, and then we withhold the state and the
Local.
local
Okay, got it.
county.
What'd you say they'll come out, the check around?
What, you figured that up, what the check would roughly come out to be?
272882, I think. Or did you say when?
Like what amount?
I think it's 2728.
Okay.
72880.
That's the estimated amount on it.
What?
So the Fed are getting 20% of that back. That's a
We do that as a gift tax because it could throw people into a different tax bracket, or they may
This
get,
won't change their tax bracket, basically.
they may get it back when they,
file the tax
When they
return. They
file
could
it.
get it back based on where they're at.
yeah. Mhm.
We don't want anybody to come up and have to, oh.
Right, because of this one-time thing that's coming, not a recurring event.
We need a motion to approve the amended salary ordinance.
Yeah, number 6.
I'll like.
Oh, gosh.
Hey, I feel a lot of time.
I'll take-
I'm gonna second that motion.
Happy. I learned from Mike.
Yeah.
Fast. Go fast.
We have a motion and a second to approve salary schedule amendment number 6. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
And as I pass this through for you to sign, if you would initial down here where I wrote the additional on the one page, flip it over and sign on.
Any other new business? Mayor Key?
I just realized, and this is my bad, during that budget time, I thought we were going to. I think it's approximately first deputy. But we get her up to first deputy pay. You know, part of her salary does come back on the state. I can't remember. But everything she did, it was the first one, she was very second. Also with the security going in, and she's going to be, works all the badges. And that, part of that. I think she is really doing this, actually probably past it. But she does. This is for next year's budget, not this year. That would have to be put off until next year and ask for additional if you so.
So that request will come in January because the budgets have already been submitted.
Just want to put it in.
It's okay. I mean, that'd be something that you guys would have to come back in January and request.
Motion to adjourn.
Yeah.